never knew it could be so hard living on the go. Sink or swim.
All right, there we are. We're back on again. We're on our third attempt of getting this recording done. Got Nick in the Zoom building with us. Nick is a master of percussion and drums. So yeah, we're gonna get caught up with Nick. Yeah, man, tell us how you been during all this shelter in place COVID stuff, man.
Oh man, it's definitely a crazy time right now, but we're doing good. Me and the vet, we're just trying our best to stay inside and not be in too much contact with everybody. But you know, I'm definitely a social person, so it's hard. It's real hard for me not to be texting people, calling people, telling people to come through, come hang out, and stuff like that. But you know, I gotta do my best.
Yes, it is hard being a social butterfly, man. I know. I've been on hikes. I've been riding the bike, you know, and just going on jogs around the neighborhood and just trying to get out. But it's just hard not to have gatherings all the time. It'll never replace being like with somebody.
Right.
Like, even this, it still falls short, right? Like,
oh yeah.
I mean, I appreciate this technology, but at the end of the day, it'll never replace sitting with you in your backyard right now watching the sunset go down.
Yeah, man. Kicking up, you know, drinking a little something and just hanging out. You know, maybe playing some dominoes or something.
Yeah.
Playing some music. Just vibing out, you know.
Yeah.
But
we'll get back to it soon.
Hopefully it'll pass through.
Yes. Yeah. I don't want to come back to this place again.
Nah.
If it could not happen again in my lifetime, that would be great.
Oh yeah.
That would be great. Cool. If we learn from all this, pray we do. We don't have to come back here again. So yeah, Nick, tell me about give me a little recap of history with you and the band, if you will. I mean, I know it's more than Into the Pacific because a lot of people don't realize that was, that only came about in like 2012. So
right. Yeah. So I mean, in the beginning, it was what started us playing together was us in church. And, you know, you guys at the old church in Hayward, back then it was called Amherst and then went into Community of Grace. I remember playing with you at a conference and because my family was playing the worship music at the church in San Pablo. And so we connected at a conference and you played bass and from then on, I think we kind of understood each other in a way. We started seeing each other more often and playing together here and there more often. Mm-hmm. Especially my sister singing. She sang in a band that you had put together or whatever it was. And then going from that setting into like Battle Cats. Which I was still playing basketball and attending Richmond High
right
at that time, and then taking Bart and coming to see you guys and practice with you guys on the weekends or whatever, whenever we could make time. And so, you know, Battle Cats with Danny and Josh and Vince. Larry came through, Vince, Raquel, Watson.
Yeah.
So
that was so people know that was a live band hip hop. So you know, not necessarily the most popular thing of its time, but like, you know, we looked at groups like the Roots and we're like, man, if we could do something like that, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
Because back then that was them. They were very much, you know, the live band hip hop. Even Black Eyed Peas for a while was strictly live, you know, live setup. Right. But yeah. That was fun. Good
Yeah.
times.
So we had good influence of music and a good diversity of everybody's background, and everybody pretty much grew up in the Bay Area. So we just definitely had that Bay Area culture, and we're open to all kind of genres and just feeling different vibes and going with it. But so from then you had started Unparalleled Addiction, and then you guys needed a drummer at some point. So then I was playing basketball at Contra Costa College, and I was about 19 years old and ready to move out from the nest and move forward just as a man. And then you gave me the opportunity and said, hey, I need a drummer. And I got a room here. You can stay here with a little bit of rent, save some money while you go. And we just create music and see where it takes us.
Yeah.
So I pretty much took that opportunity in which I have a deep gratitude for your parents.
Right.
You know, Russell and Leonore. I mean, they've done so much for me individually, for us as a band.
Yeah.
And I can't thank them enough for the opportunity they gave me and just looking out for me. You know, so I'm super thankful for them.
Yeah. Yeah. Same here, man. I don't think we go on that journey without their support.
Nah,
Yeah.
they enabled us in a lot of ways. So
Yeah.
a lot of support, a lot of love, a lot of patience with us.
Oh yeah.
So a lot of trusting us with the minivan
Oh
and
man.
different vehicles and stuff.
Trying to pull trailers that were too big for the minivan to be pulling.
Yeah,
All the way.
it definitely was sketch here and there.
Oh yeah.
Touch and go situations.
Oh man. Man. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, man, once you moved in, it was like full throttle for a long time on music. I mean, I watched you progress into a whole different drummer, man. Like, and then of course there's just like you said, that was a time of growth on many levels for us, not just in music, but in our own personal lives, in our own spiritual life. It was a time of massive like growth. And
Right.
but yeah, man, what would you say was like some stuff that stuck out history wise, like what's a band highlight or low light or whatever, that kind of sticks out when you think back?
One of the memories that comes to mind is when I was working at Starbucks as an opener, and it came
how early does openers get there?
Oh man, I would be there at around 4:30 and open up by 5.
I remember getting up in the middle of the night to go pee and hearing you through the wall, just trying to like sing yourself awake in the morning because you're like so tired. Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty. So what happened was it was in preparation for the Midwest tour. We were playing with Benjamin Dunn and Friends, and I wasn't planning on making that trip, and they had another drummer lined up, which was awesome. And then something happened where he couldn't make the first show, and so the night before we were practicing in Francis Garage, right? Francis Garage off of 8th Street in Hayward.
Yeah.
And so you guys are trying to put me up on game real fast and catch me up to speed. And so I'm gonna make the first show, but then I would fly home right after that and get back in time to get up right in the morning and open at the Starbucks. So that was the plan. But
I remember you had to hustle just to switch your schedule around because you were supposed to be working on those days.
Yeah, it was a bunch of
everything.
Things. The stars aligned perfect, and the right strings were pulled, and it happened. But the crazy part was when we were driving. It was me and Ben in his Scion, and then you guys were following in the minivan, pulling the trailer. And we were on the 5, not even out of California yet. And then me and Ben, we're jamming. We got the music blasting. We're singing at the top of our lungs. We're going crazy. We're just Red Bulls and just going, all out. And then we get a call from Esteban and the other guys, and they're like, "Hey, how you guys doing on gas?" And we're like, "Look, oh shoot, we're on E," and you're like, "Well, GPS says we're about 26 miles from the next gas station, forward and back. So, what do you want to do?" And we got this Scion XB that's full of band gear.
To the roof.
Everything that couldn't fit in the minivan and trailer, everything else was landed in the Scion.
Yeah.
So we just we run out of gas. It's midday, burning hot. There's big rigs flying by us. I'm in like shorts and flip flops with no socks. We got my man bun, looking like a samurai. I got my shirt off, sweating out there in the heat, pushing in my flip flops.
Oh man,
giving it the best I got, and Ben steering and pushing.
Yeah.
Man, that was crazy. This big race just
Oh, it's brutal.
But yeah, that was one of my greatest memories. So some old white lady came and picked us up, took us to the gas station with her poodle.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a great memory.
It was crazy because I remember pulling over. We got to the gas station, and eventually, somehow I got a hold of you, and you told me like, "Hey man, we're pushing this thing," and I think that lady came up in the middle of you guys, me talking to you or something, because we were gonna try to turn and come back, bring some gas, and somehow I think that lady was gonna help out. Some I can't even remember. And at the same time, I realized that, because I think we stopped all the way in that Bakersfield exit. And at that point was when I realized I didn't bring my bass guitar.
Oh,
I packed everything except my bass guitar. I was like,
I forgot that part.
You have got, and all that was happening at the same time.
Oh, you know what? That was and then something happened with the fuse box on the minivan, right?
Yes, we couldn't
something
figure out.
Happened.
We were sitting there trying.
You guys were frustrated over at your end.
Dude.
You guys were frustrated, had a whole dilemma
right.
on your end.
So
we were out.
You guys were stuck on the 5. We were like 30 miles ahead of you at the Bakersfield exit, trying to figure out why none of the lights on the van work, because the sun is going to go down in a couple hours. So in the middle of trying to figure out how to, where's the fuse? Where's the issue? That's when I look in the back and realize, where's my bass?
Right.
Mess. It was a mess. But also, like you said, it's a memory. Never goes away.
Yeah, and that's like the best thing about like those good times is like when it's all said and done and the struggle and the trials and tribulations are over, like being able to sit back and laugh about what happened and in the moment when everybody was
sweating,
emotional and stuff like that, and you feel like you got a time crunch and the pressure's on.
Yeah.
And now we could just sit back and laugh at it. Like, that's so crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah.
But yeah, like I remember our trip to Arcata. Playing in Arcata was awesome.
Oh yeah.
Portland.
Yeah, you rode up to Portland with Danny one time.
Yeah. Austin was fun. That was just crazy because in the morning when I opened at the Starbucks, I was just like in amazement of like, wow, I really just went there and did all of that, and now I'm right back here serving coffee.
Right back home.
Like if you guys only know what I just went through.
Yeah. What I just did.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But yeah.
Yeah.
But that was man, those are good times, man. Those are good times. Just the vibes, the energy that we put out, that we came together. you know, creating that album. Oh, that's another great memory. It was just
Right.
creating the album together and coming up with our parts.
Yeah.
And, you know, for me, it was like, give me the dump track and let me figure some things out. Let me work with it. Let me play with it. And then coming into you guys with some ideas, and then you guys kind of adding stuff or tweaking stuff, and then going down and laying down the tracks.
Right.
And then the studio in which we recorded on Telegraph in Oakland was crazy cool.
Oh man, it was
Like
super cool.
the attic room,
Yeah.
dude, up in the cathedral building in downtown Oakland, way up high, like on the 15th floor, looking out. You know, we were able to go take a break up on the rooftop and look out over downtown Oakland. It was that was epic.
It's magical. Every
was
time we
epic,
got to
dude.
take a breather up on that roof.
Yeah. So that was awesome, man.
I want to say that's probably one of my biggest memories is putting that album together is you know, that specific full length. Like, people don't understand like how, I mean, unless you do this, unless you make music, going through that process and how hard it is. But I think more so what the fact that it was our first real time, like all of our first real shot at the studio. And like for you, I remember just sitting there one of the first nights of you recording your drum parts. Cause that was the order we did. We had our dump tracks, but the drums and bass always went first, but it was drums first. And you had to sit, you know, you had to go off of a dump track to do all your rehearsing on your own and come ready to go to try and just knock that out. And so, you know, Denny's like, you know, give him some hours, man. Like when he comes in, give him a lot of takes. It's going to take a while. It's going to be, and I remember like because we were doing songs in like 2 or 3 song chunks. Yeah. And the first time we did 3 songs, and you go in there in one night, and you busted all of them out in like an hour and a half, and I was like, dude, he's been doing this his whole life. Like you had, and it was almost the same look on your face that when you would get into a basketball game. I watched you, like your face was you'd get in such a like focused, concentrated mode, and you would just nail your parts. And if you didn't, you were the first one to stop and be like, no, let's run it back. Let's do it again.
Yeah.
Do it again. And man, like watching you work in the studio, I mean, I still brag about you to people, to drummers that I know now. Like, hey man, you want to find out what you're made of, put you in a studio and record some parts. When the pressure's on, it's really on in the studio, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. For me, it's just, I don't want to let everybody down. I don't want everybody waiting on me to, like, you know, keep on, like, nah, run it back. Like, come on, man. Like, you know, and I think that's just the mentality that you kind of have to take. Like,
right.
You gotta go in there with a sense of pride and give it your best shot. And hopefully you've prepared enough to be able to execute. But yeah, man, that was the vibe, man.
It's good, man. And that album I still love listening to, and I think I have more appreciation for it now than I did back then, because I listen a lot to drums and bass, and I'm like, man, those parts are complex. Those parts are not. It's not just straightforward rock and roll beats. There's none of that in there. Barely. Yeah. Everything's different and odd, and we were trying to like think differently and do things that had a good groove to it, but not what you were expecting.
Yeah,
that album was full of that creativity.
That's where it started, and then we started playing around and tweaking around with like the stand-up little version of playing the song. You know what I mean? And that was very different in itself. And it just had a little bit of a different energy to it. And that's when like the Lumineers were hot, and
right.
Mumford and Sons were going crazy, and I don't know. It was just a little bit more of a banjo tambourine type of folk type of
Feel
sound.
right.
But man, it was fun, man. It was fun just being able to go anywhere and execute the song and play the song
Yeah.
in any fashion. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Whether it be in a full kit or like a live setting, like when we used to play like stripped down sets at Eon Cafe.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
Right.
it's cool. You know, we kind of like the NPR Tiny Desk setting.
Yeah.
Like that, and I love watching those, and I love how we used to get down, because it's like it really shows like if you're like a well-rounded musician. Are you just a studio musician? Are you just somebody who can behind closed doors make it happen? Or you know, when you're on set and all eyes are on you,
Right.
you know,
They're all
you need,
different skills. They're all different
yeah.
skills. Every one of those.
Yeah, and it was like we had I felt like we had a really good, well-rounded group that we could make it happen regardless.
Right. Yeah, no, I absolutely agree, man. That specific group, anyone who was playing with us between like, you know, 2011 to 13, 14 was, you know, they were part of so many different settings that we did music in, that they had to know that same song 3 different ways.
Right.
You know, and be able to play to the room. So yeah, that was good times. Good times.
like remember staying at Brian's and playing at Finn's Coffee in Santa Cruz, and
Right.
always visiting Starving Musician, and
Yes. Good old Starving Musician in Santa Cruz, man.
yeah.
That's where that silver drum set came from. Man, so okay, so you talked about Starbucks. And then like just give us like the recap of bring us Nick into today. I know there's a lot of time there, but and I know you see I saw you through all that and all that hard work that you know, everything that I saw you do whether it was in school or whether it was in our band, in the studio, on a basketball court, you took that ferocity and applied it to what you were going to do next in life.
Yeah, I try to keep that same energy. Like, you know, so after Into the Pacific, I focused on finishing up my AA degree. So I finished it at Chabot College with liberal arts, so A and liberal arts with an emphasis on math and science.
Right.
And my goal was to stay within like the sports realm and maybe do like kinesiology, like sports medicine stuff. So I was taking some of those classes at Chabot and getting familiar with their training room, and got to meet some of the athletes there, some of the basketball players. Got to play with some of the guys at Chabot College, and I ended up being one of the assistant coaches for the team. I think that was like 2012.
Mm-hmm.
So that was cool. That was a good experience just to be around that atmosphere. That's where I wanted to be. And then I heard 2014, actually, I was still at Starbucks, but I had transferred to the Amador store.
Right.
And so he had told me about an EMT program called Bay EMT, where it's like a stipend program, and they give you everything you need. You just go through the program, and they hook you up with a job at the end. And you know, one of their things was trying to increase the diversity of the first responders, whether it be ambulance workers or firefighters. So, and the whole idea is just like getting people out to serve the community that look like the community, you know. So that's what the program was about. And so I was kind of at a crossroads, like, man, should I try that, or should I still stick with what I'm working on with this kinesiology thing? The plan was to transfer from Chabot to go to East Bay, because East Bay has a good kinesiology program. So I just thought about it, prayed about it, talked to people about it, and then gave it a shot. And so the EMT program went really well. I finished like one of the top students in the class. Uh, the kinesiology work that I already had started at Chabot College pretty much helped me to just understand things better when it came to like the human body and treatment and stuff like that. And so I ended up landing an ambulance job on an ALS ambulance, working with paramedic and learning how to drive code 3, ring down hospitals and take care of people, you know, in a medical sense. So that was 2014, and by August of 2014, I was working on an ambulance, and then I wanted to. I saw a route to get to firefighting, and pretty much did everything that I needed to do to try to land a job. So 2015, I went through a fire academy program through the same people that put on the Bay EMT program. So that was actually held at the Oakland Fire Tower, 2015, and then I took the Oakland Fire test in the summer of 2015, and then Oakland Fire came back to me and gave me a conditional offer of employment for 2016. And so I was hired, and I was in a fire academy for a professional fire department, Oakland Fire, in 2016.
Yeah.
So yeah, now I'm off probation. I've been in for 3 going on 4 years. October will be 4 years.
Time flies, man.
Yeah. So that's been where my focus has been. Just perfecting my craft, always being a student of the game, which just like music, you always got to be a student of the game. Just like life, you just got to, you know, like you said, keep that same energy, keep that same motivation, kind of figure out where you want to go and make it happen.
Right.
You know, so I'm currently living in Concord right now, and I'm really liking it. I love the warmer weather coming from Richmond with the cold wind.
Man.
San Leandro's a little warmer, but Concord, I'm loving it. I'm loving the warm summer nights.
Yeah. Yeah, you get some nice ones out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good, man. I appreciate you bringing us up to speed, man. Yeah, I just want you to know, man. You know, I mean, you have been, you know, closer to me just by default because we got to, you know, live together, literally, and
right.
And to see, you know, you go the route that you did, man. Like, again, people would always check in with me. Hey, how's Nick doing? And I would always be telling them the next thing you were on. And when's the last time you seen him? Oh, I seen him studying at Starbucks. I seen him studying at this place. I seen him every time I saw you back then, you were in a book.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And they were like, man, always this proud feeling of like, you know, we're excited for the direction God's taken him no matter what. And yeah, man, that said, I have nothing but fond memories of music, and like the selfish side of me misses all those days, you know, but yeah. I'm more importantly is like seeing where you're at now. It's awesome, man. It's good stuff.
Yeah, man. Appreciate
really
you, man.
Good. Hey, I appreciate you and everything, you know, that you've been, you know, in my life, man. Much appreciated. And I was talking to somebody today, and I said, you know, I do love music, but I think I love the people that I got to do music with way more than music.
Yeah.
And that's what's kind of been pushing me to do this. Finally, get around to doing something like this, because I'm like, people need to know the people behind all this, right?
Yeah.
And even still, like all we've mostly pushed to people is music and videos, and rarely do they get this look into
Right.
like the real life. And I wanted to share that with people. Like, this is you share your favorite moment. It wasn't from a stage. It was from the side of the I-5 in heat, dusty weather. You know, like
Yeah.
people don't realize that being in a band, that actually some of the most unglamorous moments of it all are some of the greatest things to like hang on to and look back at, and just like, wow, that was cool. We made it through. We didn't die on the side of the road.
Right.
All right, man. Well, thank you. We're going to conclude this little episode. And yeah, man. All right.
All right.